My friends over at Discount Tackle hooked me up with a Megabass Sleeper Gill. Now these baits are really popular right now. A lot of people are talking about them, but I think they're kind of hard to get, so I'm pretty stoked to have one. This bait right here is 3/4 of an ounce, and it's pretty compact, and it obviously mimics a bluegill. I love the color pattern on this thing, and I'm really excited to try it. Here in Michigan, the bass gorge themselves on bluegill. We've got an abundance of small bluegill, and the bass love them. So I'm pretty darn confident I'm gonna be able to catch some fish on this thing, but really today's goal is just to fish with it, test it out, kind of get a feel for it, because this is totally new to me, and obviously it's new to the market. So anyways, let's get started. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and open this thing up. This is the only one I have, so fingers crossed we do not break it off. You know, this is, like I said, it's really compact, and really it's supposed to be snagless. I'm gonna show you here in a second how they set this thing up. This trash can go right there. All right, before I rig it up, first impressions. You know, it kind of reminds me of those old like Storm Wild Eye swim baits, except, you know, probably a little bit softer material. Obviously you've got the hook buried in the back dorsal fin. That's gonna be interesting to see how hookups are, because there's not a huge amount of hook exposed, but the bait does kind of slide down. So once you set the hook, hopefully you should be able to keep them pinned. I really like the color pattern on the one that I picked up. It's a really nice looking color. It's kind of got that purple hue to the bottom, and then it's more standard bluegill type pattern with the vertical barring and whatnot. I really think it should work quite well. You know, the water's a little dirty here today, but I'm not that concerned. I think it'll still catch plenty of fish. It's obviously got a pretty big boot tail, so it should give a decent amount of vibration. I'm using 14-pound fluorocarbon and a 6'10" medium heavy rod. My rod's rated up to an ounce, so I think this should actually be a pretty solid stick for this type of bait right here. I like this rod a lot for like swim jigs and stuff, so it should work quite well for this too. Check my line. All my line feels good, so there's no kinks in my line, so hopefully we don't break off or anything stupid. There's a bite. Oh, he short striked that. Might have been like a different species kind of nipping at the tail or something, or maybe a small bass. Oh, there's a bite. Oh, I cast it out there and one bit it while I was sinking, but it dropped it right away. By the time I picked up my line, he didn't have it, so very well could have been a small fish, but still, I've had a couple little short strikes today so far. There's one. He was running with it a little bit. I feel like I had a lot of slack in my line when I set the hook, so the fact that I got a good hook set on him tells me that this bait right here does just fine. See, look at that. Kind of hooked him in the side of the mouth. Interesting. A little smaller bass, obviously, pretty dinky, but, you know, hooked him in the side of the mouth right there, but that hook got him just fine. And then it returned right back to the hook keeper. That's kind of cool. Well, first sleeper gill fish, so that's all right. I'm sure hopefully we'll catch something bigger than that today. That's probably the fish that I just had a little short strike from. The way I've been working this so far is just kind of hopping it off the bottom, swimming it in short little spurts, and then twitching it out of the grass and whatnot. You know, the only time that I'm getting like actual grass on it, it's wrapping around the line, which is totally normal, and you can't really do anything about that no matter how weedless your bait is. So the fact that this is really avoiding the grass as far as the hook point goes, like as you can see, I've got grass on there, but it's just because it's wrapped around the line, but none of it's getting on the hook point because that hook, you know, it stays behind that dorsal fin. So I will say I like the design of that dorsal fin. I think it's really interesting. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty confident I'm gonna catch fish on this bank right here. Oh, there's a bite. There he is. Yep, I knew this bank was gonna have a few. This one, yeah, it's a better fish. That's more like what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. Get the net. There you go. Not a giant, but a nice one. And that fish got hooked perfectly. All right, see how that hook is coming out top of the mouth, kind of off the side? We've hooked both of them on the side of the mouth, but man, that's a hard part of the mouth right there, and hooked them perfect. All right, that's a nice fish right there. Probably about a 15.5, 16 incher. I'll take fish like that all day long. You know, that fish was pretty skinny, had a nice fat head though. That one kind of bit while it was slow sinking in front of all this brush right here. So I gotta imagine it was just kind of sinking to the bottom with that boot tail, and this fish just sucked it in. Very similar to a jig bite, honestly. There's a bite. Gosh, dang it, are you kidding me? That felt like it had a ton of weight to it. What happened there? Of course. How did I know that only having one of these things was gonna be a problem? This is the only other rod I have. I've actually got a Megabass Magdraft on there. There's technically some pike in here. My thought is that might have been a pike. That's unfortunately the risk with bass fishing up north, and that's why a lot of anglers sometimes have a hard time spending big dollars on baits, right? Like spending 25 bucks on a jerk bait, like, you know, the Megabass jerk baits. It's hard to justify that when all of a sudden you got pike like that. I mean, I assume that was a pike. I mean, it technically could have been a bass, but I assume it was a pike because it kind of had that bite where it's like boom, boom. A lot of times with pike, I have them kind of hit it a couple times before really getting it. And unfortunately, now he's gone, and so is my bait. That's so annoying. Highly doubt he comes up and eats this after getting a hook straight to the face, but you never know. Pike can be kind of crazy sometimes. Well, I'm obviously very frustrated that I lost my only sleeper gill when that was my goal, was to basically make a video all about the sleeper gill. I wanted to fish with it, get a feel for it, and quite honestly, in the 15 minutes I had to fish with the thing, I did get a little bit of a feel for it. I really like the way it sets the hook. You know, you set the hook on that thing and it actually 2 for 2, and honestly, I think I hooked that fish too, but unfortunately, either he had teeth or there was something wrong with my line, or I don't know. But the rest of the day, I'm going to commit to the Magdraft, which is pretty cool because this is like a 6-inch bait. It's pre-rigged. Very soft material. It actually skips really well, and I'm excited. Maybe we'll catch a big old bass on this. Okay, so I actually just got a text from my buddy over at Discount Tackle. He says, last I talked, it sounded like early fall for those sleeper gills. So that means basically I have to wait a couple months probably until I get another one. That's okay. I'm not that worried about that. Oh. Dadgummit, he was biting at the tail. Something was hitting this. It makes me feel a little bit more confident in the sense that I got a short strike, but unfortunately, we want more than just a short strike. Oh, I just had a bite. Come back. Okay, well, I've had 3 short strikes on this thing so far. Probably all little 8-inch bass for all we know. Figured all this natural shade from these trees would be a definite fish. There's not a lot of shade on this lake, so you'd think that the areas that actually have shade, there'd be a lot of fish gravitating towards those spots, especially because this lake is really shallow. Oh man, smashed it. That's a pike. That's a pike, I think. 90% sure that's a pike. Yeah, like I said. Oh wait, no, that's a bass. God, he looked like a pike. He was so long. That's actually a pretty nice bass. They don't even hardly fight on this little heavier stick. That's what we're after though. A little bit nicer fish. Ooh, there you go. Magdraft eater, cool. Big old beefy treble hook. There we go. Hooked you good, didn't we? Sweet. Magdraft 6-inch. That fish is, he's like a 15-incher. That fish is probably about 16 inches. 1 Magdraft 6, 12, 4. Seems to me like about a 16-incher. See you, buddy. Sweet. Oh, there's a bite. Oh, I swear I just had a bite. Shady spot with some wood. Come and get it, bass. Well, I've definitely had some. Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. I was getting ready to say, I've definitely had some short strikes today, but I haven't really landed very many of the bites. There we go. We've landed 2 on the Magdraft. Not a giant by any means, but it's a slow day, and to catch a fish, I'm happy with that. He got a hold of that thing. Look at that hook. And he came up and short striked it once, and then he got a hold of it the second time around. 14.5-incher probably. Prime skipping territory. Look at that. That's just so cool. You know, a lot of people skip Senkos and jigs. Not a lot of people skip big swim baits. Well, unfortunately, that's going to be it. I ran out of time. And, you know, obviously I didn't light them up today, but the reality was I was throwing this 6-inch Magdraft about 90% of the time. I trust that if I would have kept throwing the Sleeper Gill, I would have caught more fish because it got bit pretty quick. And I caught those 2 fish and then I broke off. If I would have had the next hour to commit to that bait, I'm pretty confident I probably would have caught 5-6 fish. But we caught 4, so I'm not that mad about it. You know, throwing swim baits is something that's definitely not in my wheelhouse. It's not necessarily my confidence, but it was fun to do it. It was nice to kind of mix it up. But I have a feeling I'm going to get back to ultralight fishing here soon. Make sure to let me know if you want to see some more big swim bait videos because it's something that I've been intrigued by. Anyways though, had a great time out here. Thanks again to Discount Tackle for sending me that Sleeper Gill. Sadly, I lost it, but I'll pick another up this fall. If you want to learn more about the Sleeper Gill, make sure to click the link in my description. If you click that link and purchase something, that actually helps support my channel because that's an affiliate link and I'm able to earn some revenue, which then is reinvested into this channel for in gear, in camera equipment, in trips, so on and so forth. Thank you so very much for watching. We'll catch you next time.